Okay, we're going to talk about arithmetic series. Basically, it is the same as sequences, but in this case, we're adding the numbers together and finding a sum. So you're looking for a sum versus the previous video where we're just listing the numbers. You're also going to be introduced to sigma notation, which is a shorthand way of writing series. And we saw this formula before, and we also saw this formula before from the previous video, which leads us to this formula, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So we're going to be using this formula on the next slide. Then we're going to talk about the sigma notation, and I'm going to show you how to get from here to there on that one. Okay, so for the first example is they want us to find the sum of the first 20 terms of arithmetic series. That tells you right away it has a common difference, that where you're given the first term is 10 and the common difference is 3. So I'm going to use this formula here. The sum is n over 2 times 2 ace of 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Alright, so our total number of terms is 20. So that's 20 over 2 times 2 times 10 plus 20 minus 1 times our common difference, which is 3. And you can use a calculator and get all this. You get 10 times 20 plus 19 times 3. And that gives you 770. And that's your sum of the first 20 terms. Now let me show you on the next slide how we get this formula. Well, first of all, from the very first video you watched, you knew that the sum from Gauss is n over 2 times ace of 1 plus ace of n. Okay, well, we also know from the video prior to this one that the term we're looking for, the last term, is the first term plus the previous term times d. All right, or the number of terms, the total number of terms prior, or the before the term is d. So all I'm going to do here is substitute this formula into that. So we get the sum is n over 2 times ace of 1 plus, now I'm just going to type or write this down for my n, because that's what it equals, ace of 1 plus n minus, whoops, what happened? Plus n minus 1 times d, which basically here we have two aces of 1, so we get s of n equal n over 2 times 2 ace of 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So that's where the formula comes from. All right, now let's look at the summation formula. The summation formula is a convenient way of writing a sum where you don't have to list everything. In this case, we're going to have to list everything, so you learn how to do this. But let's say we have 2k minus 3. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and list the terms. What they're talking about is we're starting with k equals 1, so I'm going to plug in 1. Our first term will be, you plug in 1, you're going to get 2 times 1 minus 3, all right, plus ace of 2, you're plugging in 2 for k. So you get 2 times 2 minus 3, plus your third term goes here, which is going to be 2 times 3 minus 3, plus your fourth term would be 2 times 4 minus 3. And that's your fourth term. So we're adding the first 4 terms. And when you do that, you get negative 1 is your first term, plus 1, plus 3, plus 5. And when you add all that up, this is all going to equal 8. Okay? So that's how you use the summation notation. Now, what I want you to look at is how many terms did we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So when you see something like this, what you do to find the number of terms is you're going to subtract 4 minus 1, and you get 3, and you have to add 1. Okay? So there's 4 terms. And the reason I say that is because sometimes you're going to get something like, we want to start at k equal 4, and we want to go to, say, 70. And what most students do, they subtract these two and get 66, but the total number of terms is actually 67, because you're starting with 4. So that would be 70 minus 4, which gives you 66. Then you have to add 1, because we're going by ones here. And that would give you 67 terms. And you need to know that, because that's going to be your n when you're using formulas. So just remember, we didn't have 3 terms here. We had 4. Okay, so let's do some problems. We want to find S of n, where a sub 1 is 12, a sub n equals 100, and n equals 12. Well, simply, since we have everything we need, we're just going to use this formula. And plug everything in. My n's 12, so I get 6 over, I get 6. Let me write it all out. Pretty soon you'll be skipping steps. So 12 over 2 plus 12 times 12 plus 100. And that's going to yield 672. Okay? Now, here's one where we have the D. We have a sub 1. We're going to find the sum again. A sub 1 equals 42. We have our n, which equals 8. And our common D difference is 6. So I can't use this formula. There's no D. The N, we don't know what term we're looking for. We just know there's 8 terms. So I could plug the N here, but I don't know what the term is. So I'm going to use the formula. I'm going to purple. S of N equals N over 2 times 2a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times D. And when I plug everything in, I get 8 over 2 times 2 times 42 plus 7 times 6. So this would be 8 minus 1 here. And that would give you 440 when you do all the math on that. Okay? Now let's look at one with the summation notation. So here we have, we need to find the sum where we're starting with 1, ending with 20, so that we have 20 terms. That just means our n is 20 terms. And our formula is 2n plus 1. Now, the way I'm going to do it, instead of doing it the first way we did it, I'm going to use this formula. Because I know my n is 20. I know to get a sub 1, I'm just plugging in 1 for n, and that is 3. And for my last term, I'm plugging in 20. So 2 times 20 plus 1 gives you 41. And then you use a calculator, or if you don't, you can just do, this would be what? 44. 2 goes into 44 22 times, and you can do all the math. And that gives you 440. Okay? All right, here's another way to do it. We want to find the first 3 terms. Okay, so let's go back to this. We're going to find the first 3 terms where a sub 1 equals 7, a sub n equals 83, and s of n is 900. So they're giving you the sum. And what I want to do is go ahead and use my formula. S of n equals n over 2. And we have times a sub 1 plus a sub n. So we have 900 equals n over 2 times 7 plus 83. Now, what I'm going to do right away is just multiply through by 2. So I get 1800 equals n times 7 plus this is 90. So n equals 2. And I don't know what I did here, but this should have been 1800. So 1800. So n is 20. And we're going to have to find the common difference to find the first 3 terms. So to find d, I'm going to use this formula. Okay, and I got to get all my information. So I'm basically going to use the formula twice. S of n is 900 equals n over 2. N we already know is what? 20. And 2 times a sub 1. A sub 1 was 7. Plus 19 times d. Alright? So we get 900 equals 10 times 14 plus 19 times d. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide by 10, and I'm going to get 90 equals 14 plus 19d. Subtract 14, and that's going to be 86 equals 19d. So d equals 4. Okay? It's not 86, by the way. This is 76. Thanks for telling me. 76. All right. So since d is 4, I know my first term is 7. My second term is going to be 11. And my third term is going to be 15. So you can use your formula in a variety of ways. Let's see if we have any more with the summation sign, because that's what you really need to know. All right, so let's find the sum of these. These are the kind that are going to be on your test. We want to find the sum where k equals 3, and we're going to 8, and my formula is 5k minus 10. Okay, now if you want to use this formula here, which makes it easier, what we need to do is look at what's going on here. This is different. We're not starting at 1. They're starting where k is 3. But how many terms is that? So basically what you do is you do 8 minus 3 is 5, and then you have to add 1. So our n happens to be 6. Alright? So when I plug in this, I'm going to get s of n equals 6 over 2 times ace of 1. Ace of 1 is you plug in 3 here. And that's going to give you 5. And then for ace of n, the last term, basically ace of 8 equals 5 times 8 minus 10, which is 30. And then you're going to get, multiply all this out. So s of n equals 6 over 2 times 35, which gives you 105. I believe it gives you 105. All right. Okay, and you can check the calculator on that. All right. The next one, let's do another one. We have, we're going to start at p equals 4. And we're going to go to 10. So how many terms would that be? Yes, it's 7 terms. So n is 7. Because when you're starting with p of 4, you have ace of 4, ace of 5, or more simply, just write out the numbers. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So you subtract the 4, you get 6, and then you add the 1. That gives you the 7. Alright, so basically I'm going to use my formula. The sum is 7 over 2 times, and I'm going to plug in 4 first. So 2 times 4 plus 1, which gives us 9, plus the next one I'm going to plug in 10. That's going to be 21. And when you calculate that out, you get 105 again. Alright? Now, the next one we can do is, let's do a harder one. Let's do the sum where j equals 1, we have to 5, and we have 2p, no, we have 9 minus 4j. So when you find the sum, we're going to get, we have 4 terms. Do we have 4 terms or 5 terms? Yes, we have 5 terms. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, you plug all those in. So that's going to be 5 over 2 times ace of 1. So you plug in 1 here. That's going to be 5. Then plug in 5. So 9 minus 20 is, what is this? 9 minus 20 equals negative 11. And when you work this whole thing out, you get negative 15. Okay? And that's how you use the summation sign. Now, the ones we do in the book are going to be a little harder than this, but this is a good start.